Hey everyone, this is MJ. I'm so excited you've joined me for my countdown to Christmas featuring MJ's Merry Minis. I've designed 25 Christmas ornaments and each one will release from December 1st through to December 25th, and you'll be able to find the pattern for free on my blog on the ornaments release day. Now I'm hosting a crochet along over in my Facebook community group, and the link will be in the description box if you want to join in and post your pictures. If you'd rather not wait for all 25 ornaments to release, I've decided to put together a beautifully designed ebook featuring all 25 crochet ornaments. You can purchase the ebook through the link in my description box. Hey, this is MJ, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make this adorable little mosaic stocking, perfect for your Christmas tree or ornament topper. I'm using wool of the Andes worsted weight yarn, and I'll be using camel heather and white. You'll need some twine for hanging, some wooden beads, scissors, a yarn needle, and I'm using a 4mm G crochet hook, and this is a Furl Streamline wood hook, and you'll find links for all these items in the description box. Okay, so to begin our mosaic stocking, I'm going to start with a magic ring. Slide my hook through all 3 loops, pulling the first through, and chain 1. Now I'm going to very loosely work 6 single crochet in this ring. Now I'm going to pull the ring tight, so you want to take your tail, start to pull it in. You'll see 1 loop is coming in, just grab it. It's going to pull that other loop, and this ring will not come loose. It's nice and tight. Okay, so now we're going to slip stitch in the first single crochet to join, chain 1, and then we'll work 2 single crochet into every stitch around. So we're increasing to 12 stitches. Now we'll slip stitch in the top of that first single crochet to join, chain 1, and we'll work single crochets again, but we'll do 1 in the first, 2 in the next. And we'll repeat that pattern all the way around. So 1 in the first, 2 in the next. 1 in the first, 2 in the next. So we're increasing to 18 stitches, and this is actually the first round showing here on my chart for the mosaic pattern. Now when we change color, we're going to go through the back loop only to do our slip stitch, and we're going to change over here to color B. Pull those tails nice and tight and chain 1. So this round we're working all single crochets in the back loop only. Ignore this white here because that is a drop down double crochet that covers over this round. So just work the entire round in color B. So in the same stitch here that we slip stitch to, we'll do the first single crochet, and we're working single crochets in the back loop of every stitch around. So I've worked all the way around, and then on our slip stitch join, we're going to change back to color A. Okay, so going in the first stitch, pull A through, and then make sure to tighten up that tail and chain 1. So let's look at the chart. Now this chart you can find on the blog for free, or you can purchase the ebook with all of our ornament patterns. So the first two, we will work a single crochet in the back loop only, which is a blank box. When we get to the X, we'll do a drop down double crochet, 2 in the back loop, drop down, 2 in the back loop, and so on. So we'll work 2 in the back loop. And now to do a drop down double crochet, here's our next stitch. We're going to go 2 rows below. There's that front loop that's exposed. We're going to do a double crochet. We're going to go down into that front loop. See, now we're covering up row 2 to get our pattern. 2 in the back loop and another drop down. And I just like to count my front loops here to make sure I'm going in the correct one. So 1, 2, and then the third is the drop down. 1, 2, 1, 2, and a drop down. And I am just going to repeat this around, and then I'll meet you back up to make sure I'm going through that correctly. And we're ending with a drop down in the final stitch. And we'll change colors on the slip stitch join again. So drop, keep white to the side, drop A, pick up B, tighten that up, chain 1. So now for round 4, I'm going to do a drop down in that first stitch. And then I'm going to work 3 in the back loop only. So 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to have a drop down, back loop drop down around this double here. So drop down, back loop only, and a drop down. And then I'll do 3 in the back loop only. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and we're just repeating this pattern now all the way around. Drop down, back loop, drop down. And then 3 in the back loop only. So I'm ending with a drop down and then 1 in the back loop only. And I'm going to slip stitch in the back loop only of the first stitch to join. Okay, so I'm dropping off B, picking back up A. Make sure you pull the tails tight and chain 1. So now for 5, we're going to start with a single crochet in the back loop only, drop down, back loop, drop down, and then 3. So back loop only. And then I have a drop down, back loop, and a drop down. Then I'm going to do 3 in the back loop. Drop down, back loop, drop down, and then 3 in the back loop. One, 2, 3. And when we get to these 3 loops, we'll have the drop down, back loop, and drop down. We're ending with 2 in the back loop. Now I'll slip stitch in the back loop only. Tighten that up and chain 1. Now for round 6, I'm going to do 2 in the back loop only, a drop down, 2 in the back loop only, a drop down. Now my printer is running out of ink, so mine's not looking very good, but you can pull this up on the blog and you'll be able to see the chart really clear. So I'm going to do the back loop of the first 2 and then a drop down, back loop of the next 2 and a drop down, and that's the pattern that just repeats around this time. Okay, so I'm ending with a drop down, and I'm going to slip stitch in the first to join. Changing back to A. Pull your join nice and tight, chain 1. So round 7, I'm going to drop down into the first. Then I'll do 3 in the back loop only. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to go around this double here, a drop down, single crochet in the back loop, a drop down, and then I need to do 3. 1, 2, 3. Drop down, back loop, drop down. Ending with a single crochet in the back loop. We're going to slip stitch in the back loop only to join. Okay, so round 8, we're going to do our heel opening. So we're going to start out with our pattern here. So we have a single crochet in the back loop, a drop down, single crochet in the back loop, a drop down. Then we have 3 in the back loop, 1, 2, 3, and then a drop down, back loop, drop down, and then we'll have 2 in the back loop. I've marked here 6 stitches because that's how many chains I want to make. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my pattern stops there, and then we'll chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we will slip stitch in the first, the back loop of the first, and change back to A. Through, make sure, tighten everything up, chain 1. And so round 9, we have 2 in the back loop, drop down, 2 in the back loop, drop down, and repeat that across. So back loop, 2 in the back loop, then a drop down, 2 in the back loop, and then a drop down, 2 in the back loop, then a drop down, just repeating this all the way around, 2 in the back loop, and a drop down, and then we're to the chain. So once we're at the chain, we're going to turn the chain to see those back humps, and we'll work single crochets across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll slip stitch to join. Pull that tight, chain 1. Okay, so for round 10, we'll work our first in the back loop only, and then we're doing a drop down, back loop only, a drop down, and then 3 in the back loop only. So 1, 2, then a back loop, drop down, and repeat that around. Oh, actually, I'm going to show you because we're coming to this section, which can be a little tricky. So 1, 2, 3. So now when we do our drop down, we're going to come down into this loop. So drop down, back loop, drop down, and then we're finishing with 2 in the back loop. So now we're going to slip stitch in the back loop only. Make sure you tighten that up, chain 1, and round 11 we'll work a drop down in this very first stitch. Here it's tight in there. 3 in the back loop only. Then a drop down, back loop, drop down, and then 3 in the back loop, and just repeat that around. Okay, so I've slip stitched, chain 1, and now for round 12, we're going to work 2 in the back loop. And a drop down, and that's the repeat all the way around for this round. Okay, I've slip stitched and chained 1, so we're doing a single crochet in the back loop, a drop down, back loop, drop down, and then 3 in the back loop. Drop down, back loop, drop down, and just repeat that. I've slip stitched to join, and we're back to color B, and we're going to start out with a drop down, and then we're going to do 3 in the back loop, then a drop down, back loop, drop down, 3 in the back loop, and this pattern is just repeated all the way around. Okay, I've slip stitched to join. I'm going to chain 1. And this one we're doing 2 in the back loop and a drop down, and that's just repeated all the way around. Okay, I've slip stitched and chain 1, and now we're going to do a drop down, 3 in the back loop, And then we're going to do a drop down back loop. And a drop down. So repeat that around. Okay, you can now fasten off your color B and we'll slip stitch, this time going through both loops. Chain one and work a single crochet in every stitch around. So now we can slip stitch to join. And we're going to chain out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll work single crochets in the back loop of every chain. Now we'll skip the first and we'll slip stitch into the next two. Turn, work in the back loop only. So we're making this join as you go cuff. Chain one, and then work back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we'll slip stitch in the next 2 stitches along the base. Turn, and then we're just working back up in the back loop only. So you should have 8 stitches, and just keep counting so you don't lose a stitch. So we're just working the ribbing in this manner all the way around the stocking. Chain one and turn, work back down, slip stitch next 2, and just continue like that. Okay, so once we get to the end, I just want you to chain one, and we're going to slip stitch this together. So we're going to go through the back loop and the first stitch on this side, and just slip stitch that together. You won't see this seam because we'll be flipping the stocking over. So I'm just going to complete that. Fasten that off. I'll need to weave that end in, but then this is how it's going to look. And now we just need to fill in the heel, which is really simple. Okay, so what you're going to do is just fold the stocking like this. And we're going to put our hook right in the center. Okay, so I want you to join into the 4th stitch. You should have 6 along the back. So here's 3. We're going to single crochet. So that should be 1, 2, 3. Then we are going to do 1 in the corner. Then I need to get 6 along this chain here at the back. So 1, 2, whoops, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we need 1 in this corner as well. And then there should be 3. So in total you should have 14 stitches worked around now. A slip stitch in the first stitch to join. I'm going to chain 1. I'll work 2, 1, 2, and then I'm going to decrease 3 stitches together. But I'm going to do it an invisible decrease by going through the front loops. 1, 2, 3. So the front loops only. It's a little tricky to get into this one. Okay, and then I'm going to yarn over, pulling through all 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll do the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through those 3, yarn over, pull through 2. Should just have 1 remaining, and slip stitch to join. Okay, now we can fasten that off. And we're just going to work. And grab a yarn needle. Work through the front loops only. And then this is just going to pull the bottom. So you just pull that. Okay, so that just closes in the little heel, and you can just weave in. Your tails. You can just finish weaving in all of your inside tails, and there is your cute little mosaic stocking. So once your stocking is complete, you can either add a metal hook, or you could add some twine with some beads. So I'm just going to show you that option. Use your yarn needle. And then just need to put the twine onto your needle. And you can just string a couple beads. Some of them, it's a little tougher to get this through. It's a mess. Okay, so that's how that looks. You can just tie a little knot, and you can hang your ornament this way, but it's up to you. You can just add the metal hooks as well. So So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell to stay updated on new videos and tutorials, and come back tomorrow for our next ornament in our MJ's Merry Mini collection. Thanks so much, everyone. Have an awesome day.